All right, 5 o'clock. Appreciate our video audience, courtesy of the Dollar Loan Center. We do one segment a day, and we put it on YouTube, our YouTube channel, KTIK 95.3 The Ticket. Appreciate it. If next time you're online or on your phone, go to YouTube, click subscribe to our channel, and you'll see this cool segment every single day. We're Prater and the Ball Game. Okay, Prater, excited for this one. So as far as we can tell, if you walk into Albertsons Stadium to see a Boise State football game, you won't see a name in recognition for something significant anywhere in the stadium if you're just a normal fan. Are we right on that? I mean, the only name you see is Lyle Smith. He's an ex-player.
Yes.
I'm sorry, ex-coach.
On the field, sewn into the turf, Lyle Smith Field. I believe that's the only name of any kind anywhere inside Albertsons Stadium.
I think it is. What's going on with this? Does that need to change and change immediately? One, Kellen Moore is on the cusp of the Hall of Fame collegiately every single year, and he will be until he gets in. Just yesterday, sadly, on Instagram, Ashton Jeanty said, "Deuces out. Love you, Boise." But he moved, Prater, packed his car. However Ashton is moving, Ashton moved. He no longer lives in this city. So what should, could, would Jeremiah Dickey do here to do something inside that stadium, Prater? Maybe that makes a dad look to his son and say, "Hey, son," and he points over at that number 11 over there, whatever, and says, "That guy, number 11, yeah, that was Kellen Moore." And then he goes to the other side, and there's a number 2 or whatever. He says, "Son, that guy, Ashton Jeanty, I'll tell you, he finished second in the Heisman, and he should have won it." I can see dads right now talking to their kids on that, have something up there. But now, I mean, there just isn't that. Dads can mention that on their own, but man, it bugs me when I go into a stadium and I don't see stuff like that. It's just a personal sports pet peeve with me. That thing is a palace. That thing is a cathedral. Some of people's greatest moments in their lives, entertainment, family, whatever, have been spent there watching certain players. And I think Boise State's always kind of missed the boat on this, always. And I want you guys, if you have suggestions, help us. Jeremiah Dickey, we got you lights, Jeremiah. You needed softball lights. Our buddy called and gave you $300,000 to buy them, right, Prater? We're taking that to our grave. We got
Absolutely.
We got you your softball lights, JD. Now let's figure out how the heck we can honor Kellen Moore and Ashton Jeanty inside the stadium. Call 208-424-9300 with any stinking suggestion you guys have. Michael Force, Prater.
All right, I got some serious thoughts on this, and it's evolving as we speak. One, yesterday's news really took the steam out for me. I kind of want to wait until Kellen Moore gets into the Hall of Fame before this can happen, although we don't have to. I mean, certainly he's deserving of that now. Kellen Moore doesn't need a college football Hall of Fame to announce his greatness here in Boise, Idaho, but that's certainly a cherry on the top. And yesterday, as we were talking about the Hall of Fame ceremony and if Kellen could get in and the collateral stuff that would happen, we talked about what could they do inside Albertsons Stadium. So it didn't happen. Took the steam out of it for me. I think I want to hold off another year or two before we come up with an idea, but I also want to get the idea machine into place. I have another bone to pick, especially with you, Ball Game, and that intro, which is perfectly fine.
What intro?
Yeah, just setting up this conversation. Perfectly fine. But we cannot have a conversation about putting Kellen Moore and Ashton Jeanty into whatever, statues, Ring of Honors, retired numbers, whatever you guys want to do.
No.
You got to throw in Randy Trautman as well. Randy Trautman represents the old school. Randy Trautman is in the College Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And Randy Trautman is a local. Randy Trautman won a national championship. Randy Trautman, this needs to be a 3-part process. And we're talking about number 11. We're talking about number 2. And for you old timers, we're talking about number 70, Randy Trautman as well.
Brett, you're first up, 208-424-9300. Your thoughts on this? How could, should, or would Boise State honor some of those names inside the stadium? Guys, your stadium honors no one publicly. I know there's cool stuff in the Blameyer. I see it every day. You guys aren't allowed in there. There's cool stuff in the press box. I see it when I'm up there. You guys aren't allowed in there. There's nothing on the field to look at and say, oh, yeah, that was my guy.
Yeah, and before we get to the call, I'm going to give one last jab to my good buddy, Gene Blameyer. Gene Blameyer is responsible for some of this. Gene Blameyer was really conflicted about honoring players in the past. And for a long time, it didn't happen. And it wasn't a priority for him. And a long time, the relationship with the old players kind of disappeared for a while. And then certainly when Pokey was here and Houston was here and there was transactions and transitions of coaching staffs, and it just kind of got lost in the shuffle. Lately, it's been a lot more better. The Hall of Fame stuff is still much of an issue. We'll talk about that another time. But recognizing the past has never been one of Boise State's strengths.
Okay, who's up first, JP? Let's go to Brett. Sorry, man. Brett, you're on Idaho Sports Talk live in front of thousands of people right now. What do you have?
So this is Brett from Fruitland. I always listen to you guys on the way home. So when I was visiting University of Nebraska for work, they have, just on the outside, a Hall of Fame with bricks for each sport. And you can look up the name and the year and what they did. But what Boise State could do for football, they could do that either like on the south side end zone, because there's that hallway in between the east and west side. They could put something like that on the south walkway for the south end zone. Or they could do something on that on the west side of the stadium as well, which is a walkway where you can see all that. That's just my suggestion. Something I saw from University of Nebraska I thought was amazing, like something we could implement at Boise State.
Great stuff, Brett. Roll your window next time up in your car. I love you, though. That's a hell of a call, and he's right. They could do something there, and I appreciate you listening to us when you get out to Fruitland every day. Jeff, the fabulous Baker boy, you better have some ideas here, man. Go for it.
So first of all, please don't retire numbers. I can't stand the retiring of jersey numbers, because I think that the legacy of having somebody wear the number somebody else wore is stronger than the memory of the one guy who wore it that was really great. So please don't retire numbers. Ring of Honors are cool, but I hope that Boise State zigs where others have zagged. I always thought it would be cool, if they can do it with NCAA regulations, to make the 11-yard line orange. So an orange like slash on the 11-yard line for Kellen Moore, and then an orange slash on the 2-yard line for Ashton Jeanty. I think that would be really cool and unique, and go and fit with, the branding and sort of being different where other people are similar. But the one thing I was going to add was the most hallowed ground I think I've ever visited in sports was the statue area at Yankee Stadium. And there is room to do something like that inside Bronco Stadium over in the Idaho Sports Medicine Institute corner. Like, that's kind of wasted space, right? They park the ambulance, I think, over there, or the medical cart over there. You could create a really neat little area and do statues or displays or something for football greats, and you probably could get 8 or 10 in there before you'd have to think about adding anything.
Like a monument park. Monument Park. That's
exactly
what they do at Yankee Stadium, and fans can go tour there before the game. They have options where they can walk through, and I think fans would love that too. And man, that'd give us a lot of talk about who would be in that inaugural class if they are going to put 7, 8, 9, 10 members in there. Who would that be? Ronnie, you're next up. We appreciate the call. Ronnie, you're live on Idaho Sports Talk. What would you like to see Boise State done, or would you not want to see? There's no presence of Kellen or Ashton or Andy Trautman in that stadium. Any suggestions, Ronnie?
I was just thinking maybe like the seating section, like number 2 seating section, the Ashton Jeanty, number 70, Randy Trautman, 11, Kellen Moore, and then maybe like put up some type of, I don't know, pictures or highlights or stats or something, where you at? I'm in section 2,
That's the Ashton Jeanty section. Section 2 becomes the Jeanty section. It's just no longer section 2. It's just, Prater, I'm in the Jeanty section, row B, seat 3.
Yeah, and at one point it needs to be really cool where it's just like, I'm in the Jeanty.
Yep. Oh, you still getting your tickets in the Jeanty next year? Oh, hell yes, I am. I'll be in the Jeanty. Come on, that's where all the ladies are. And they're talking to Johnny Ballgame because, yes, Prater in the Ballgame, 208-424.
We need to get you a date.
9300. See, here's what I want. And I don't need a statue in the stadium. I don't need the mosaic or any picture. I just need somewhere very creatively. I need a 50-3. I don't know where it is. Maybe it's on the wall of the Blameyer. Maybe there's a flag that just flies that says 50-3. I would like it to be on the Stickle Sky Center. There's all that real estate, all that room there. 50-3 somewhere. There's like a 50-3, and that doesn't necessarily just say Kellen. Austin Pettis went, or closer. Not a lot of guys went 50-3 too. Maybe that signifies just that era. It signifies Kellen. I don't know where they do it, how big it will be, but I want the kids saying, "Hey, Dad, 53. What's that mean, son?" That was Kellen Moore's record as a starter. No way, Dad. He went 50-3. Yeah, son, he was the best. I'm getting chills having that conversation right now, Prater, and I don't even have any stinking kids. And with the 50-3 being somewhere, I want 2601 somewhere else. JD, Jeremiah, listening, I am serious on this. Not a lot of wiggle room. This is big stuff for me, JD. I need 2601 somewhere. And yeah, I like it now when it's hot and it's fresh. If I put this in 6 years, people in this town will forget 2601 and what it matters. I don't know where you put it, but 2601, dude. That's how many yards he ran for. That's what I want, Michael Forrest Prater. Now, please tell me you're coming over to my side on this. Start the construction. Jeremiah Dickey, this is serious.
Well, first of all, you're going to have to tell me how you're going to include Randy Trautman in there. Are you going to throw, what are you going to throw in there for him? You can't leave Randy Trautman out just because you came up with a cute idea for Kellen Moore and Ashton and Jeanty. I like the creativity of the 50-3. I like the 2601. Those are standard numbers that will live forever in Boise State history, and they should be honored somehow. But I'm going to stick with my Randy Trautman deal because I'm old, and the old timers need to be recognized here, because without the old timers, just like without your beloved disco music, we're not going to have Pearl Jam if we didn't have the Bee Gees. Without Randy Trautman, we're not going to have Kellen Moore. So we got to do it. If I had to do it, and I want to hold this, my idea is to hold off for a couple more years, but I'm all game to do something now. And you could do my idea right now. It's not creative, but it's classy and it's perfect. You put 3 circles at the facade of the Stickle Sky Center where everybody can see them. And the 3 circles say 11, 2, and 70. And underneath them, in really classy letters that everybody can read big enough, it says Trautman, Moore, and Jeanty. And there's plenty of examples out there. And they're just big old circles, big old numbers with names underneath them. It's perfectly symmetrical right there at the 50-yard line with one on each side. And that facade, which there's so much space in the front of that facade of that Stickle Sky Center. Yes. You could do all kinds of stuff. We're not going to eliminate any numbers. We're not retiring any numbers. We're going to honor 3 very important numbers, 3 very important players, and 37,000 people can see that all at the exact same time, and at no explanation needed. You don't have to explain to your kid what 2601 is or 50-3. I like your idea.
Thank you, Prater.
I like it a lot. But I need Randy Trautman involved, and I think my idea is just simple. It's classy. It doesn't need to be explained, and it's for 37,000 people to see on game day.
Prater, if I walk into that stadium now, anywhere, can I see 1980 national champions? Do you know? Is there a banner for that?
There's a whole bunch of banners above the windows in the Hall of Fame on the plaza outside. I don't know if the 1980 banner is in there.
In the stadium, yeah. Or the junior college national championship. If there's not a banner, freaking make one. Find the old JC logo in 1937, whenever the hell it is you want it. Throw that up there. Like, that's just kind of odd that you walk into a stadium and they do have a national championship in 1980, and I can't find a sign that says 1980 national champions. They do a good job with the Fiestas.
They had that sign forever.
Okay.
And it was on the south end zone. South scoreboard. It was underneath the small south scoreboard. They got rid of it because of that massive video board. There used to be a little billboard there. It was probably 10 feet by 10 feet. It was small. And somebody probably made it in wood shop one day in 1982. And it sat there for 30 years or whatever it was. I don't believe that is inside the stadium anymore. It might be inside the Hall of Fame. Tom Scott's sending me a text message right now.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
I'm joking, but he probably is.
208-424-9300 Cloverdale Plumbing text line. Keep these coming as well. Like, if you have ideas, what would you like to see? What's going to make you say, oh, cool, they did that? Like, what's going to make you do that in that stadium? I mean, JD is all about ideas. I think eventually Jeremiah is going to handle this.
Yes.
It just feels like, when I'm bringing this up, he's like, ball game, you're talking about letter Z needing to get done, and I'm still on letter K, like I got a long way to go before I get down there where we can do something cool for Kellen Moore.
But you can order a couple of circles, and you can order a couple of letters, and you can slap that thing up there on the side of the stickle. You can do that in 20 minutes. Get somebody to do it. The biggest issue,
you're talking.
The biggest issue, and one of the main reasons why I want to hold off for a little bit, is because if you're going to do this, you got to do it right, which means Ashton, Jeanty, and Kellen Moore need to be in the stadium. And they're going to be busy in the NFL for a long time, and trying to find an open weekend where they both can be honored on a day that Boise State plays a home game. That's going to be tricky, especially for Ashton Jeanty, who's a rookie.
I don't know how you're going to be able to do that. Maybe they're on the same team if Kellen's coaching Ashton, so they have the same bye week, but coaches don't vacay on bye weeks.
Well, he can fly up for a day. He can fly up for a day, absolutely.
For a Saturday game day.
Yes.
I think we're going to see Jeanty back. I mean, he'll know all the dudes on the team next year. He's still young, but
you don't even know what team or what schedule he's got. So we'd have to figure that out first.
Yeah, we need to do all that. But
logistics.
2601, where's it going to be? 50-3, where's it going to be? Number 70, Randy Trautman, 208-424-9300. Great ideas on our Dollar Loan Center video segment. Visit don'tbebroke.com for a loan possibility from the Dollar Loan Center. Prater on the ball game. Let's get back to the college football national championship. We asked you guys this question in hour number 1. Let's ask it again about Notre Dame, Prater. I want you to ask the question,
Well, this was supposed to be a Kellen Moore segment.
To the listeners.
We were going to do a Kellen Moore NFL coaching segment.
CFB Natty, Kellen Moore NFL segment, Prater on the ball game, KTIK, the ticket.
There you go.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Studios, this is Ticket Traffic.
Well, we've gone